What's going on YouTube? It's Dragoon here, and I'm back with another deck profile. I've been really looking forward to making this deck profile. Unfortunately, the place I ordered some of the cards from, I only ordered 6 cards. I won't give out any names, but they took a really long time to get these cards to me, which was just kind of ridiculous. But that aside, let's go ahead and get started and take a look at this new deck I've been working on. It's a lot of fun. It's ninjas. And no, I don't mean these ninjas. These ninjas. Alright, so, yeah, this deck's really cool. I've been kind of playing around with it, trying to figure out the right build, something that works out to be fun, yet still competitive. And I feel like I've gotten it pretty close, although I'm still kind of testing things out. But let's go ahead and just get started. So starting off is probably one of the most important cards in the deck, if not the most important. It's 3 Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. Now this guy, when he's summoned, you get to add a ninjutsu art trap card from your deck. And when he's flip or special summon, he adds a ninja from your deck to your hand. So he's pretty good. He just gives you a lot of power to add cards to your hand and just give you more advantage. And the only other ninja you're playing in the deck is 3 Upstart Golden Ninja. This guy is awesome. He's kind of like your summoner monk of the deck. When you summon him, you can, well, it's not when you summon him, but once per turn you can discard a trap card from your hand to special summon a ninja from the deck. So he makes some really good plays. Like you can, if you have him and a couple traps, you can normal him, use his effect, special another one, use this one's effect, special like a Hanzo, and you have a pretty big play, and then Hanzo will search you the last one or whatever. It does a lot of good stuff. I wish Hanzo could add himself with his search effect to add a ninja card, but he can't, unfortunately. But although if he could, it'd probably be broken. So, yeah. That's all of your ninjas. You don't really need a whole lot of actual ninjas in the deck, but these guys just do the job on their own. The other ninjas aren't quite as good, especially for what I wanted the deck to do. So the next card is 2 Photon Thrasher. You guys should be used to this card, seeing this card from me. I just think Photon Thrasher is good in virtually any warrior deck that uses Xyz monsters to a large degree. He just opens up a lot of different plays. Being able to special this guy, normal a golden ninja, and then you can use his effect, get another monster, just once again making those big plays just really good. So, yeah, I've talked about this card before. I really like this card. Alright. Next we have 2 Debris Dragon. This card's awesome. Easy Xyz summons, which like I said is what this deck is kind of designed to do. And I felt like it was too good to not play with this guy, because once again you can normal Debris Dragon, use its effect special Upstart from the graveyard, and then you can activate Upstart's effect and just go off from there. Debris Dragon serves another purpose, but I'll get to that a bit later. Then we've got 2 Max C, because dragons are too good, other decks are too good. You need to have something to stop it. I don't usually main deck hand traps, but I felt this deck kind of needed the Max Cs, something that we can do when we go second, unless you don't draw it, but yeah. 2 Max C works actually pretty well. Next we've got 2 Tour Guide and a Night Assailant. I wanted more dark monsters in the deck, and I wanted a dark monster that was going to improve the speed of the deck. The deck's kind of slow at times. It just depends on how much setup you have and stuff like that. But Tour Guide, I figured, would give me that sort of speed as well as dark monsters, because it's a 1-card Xyz monster. It's a 1-card big monster, which is what I like about it. A Night Assailant is actually pretty good in this deck, because he's pretty good against Evil Swarms. So you can just set him and deal with Ophion. So, works out nicely. Evil Swarms aren't our particularly tough matchup because we exceed summon so much, but it's just nice to have a one card out to it. So yeah, I think this works out pretty well. You never want to go for like Tour Guide into Night Assailant unless you can't get this one. Like if you have 2 in your hand, then the Night Assailant's good. But most of the time, you just go Tour Guide into Tour Guide, and then this guy. The only reason I play this card is, once again, it does help with the Evil Sword matchup, but it's just in case I draw these 2 in my hand. Because when I played the Chaos Hero deck, I would draw this relatively enough to where I felt like it was a problem. Because you never want to have to go normal Tour Guide, special the other one from your hand. I mean, it's good, but it's just not ideal. So this just helps you maintain that hand advantage. And the last 3 monsters of the deck are your Chaos monsters. We've got Light Pulsar Dragon, Chaos Sorcerer, and Black Luster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning. These cards are awesome. I don't really feel like I need to explain these too much. They all serve a purpose. This guy is obviously the best one. Just deals with a ton of good monsters. This deals with monsters, and this is, you'll only summon this one using his effect if you're going to be like, if you really need something to be able to beat your opponent down, or you need that extra damage to go for a game. Otherwise, this guy does not get summoned by his effect that often. But the reason he's in the deck is because he does have the ability to be summoned from your hand by banishing the 2, and also you can banish 2 from your hand to get him out of the graveyard. So he does some good work. He'll never use the other effect, though, about targeting a Dark Dragon, because we don't play any. So that's those guys. On to the spells. We've got Reinforcement of the Army. Just obvious, it gets you any of your warrior-type monsters. We've got Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm. Pretty self-explanatory, just your standard removal. And we've got 2 Mystical Space Typhoon and a Forbidden Dress to keep your monsters alive from spells and traps. I opted to play the Forbidden Dress because I didn't want to play the 3rd space in this case because, I mean, I know like dragons and stuff like that, they don't set as much, but they set enough to where you should be playing Space Typhoon in my opinion. I think that it's good to have something to deal with a variety of decks, and I think 2 is a good number. And this acts as a pseudo 3rd Space Typhoon. It can still protect you from like not Dimensional Prison, like Mirror Force and other stuff like that. It still protects against a variety of things. It's just, it serves other worth because you can use it during the battle phase and make your opponent's monsters go down by 600 and give you a little bit of an advantage there. So that's those. I mean, then you have the Heavy Storm as well to deal with spells and traps. So I don't feel like the 3rd Space Typhoon is really necessary in this build. And then our last 2 spells are 2 Pots of Duality because you need to get to your combo pieces as quickly as you can, and this will do that for you. Trap cards. The deck needs to play a decent amount of traps because of Upstart Golden Ninja's effect. So this trap is one of the most important traps in the deck. It's Ninjutsu Art of Super Transformation. This card's really good. You target a ninja that you control and one of your opponent's monsters. You send them both to the graveyard, and then you special summon a dragon, dinosaur, or sea serpent from the deck whose level is less than or equal to the level of the combined totals of those 2 monsters. Now, you'll never summon a dinosaur or a sea serpent in this build. This card is just easy removal of any card your opponent can have, with the exception of Xyz monsters. But if you can use this before they can make the Xyz monster, it works out just as well. Now, when you're using this card, the first one you want to go for is Light Pulsar Dragon, because it's the best one. And then that's where the Debris Dragons come into play. You can go into Debris Dragon with this. Generally, you'll want to get Debris Dragon's effect by normal summoning it, but you just play these to have an out to your opponent's monster, and it's a trap card for Upstart Golden Ninja if you need to. It's just, you can feel really good unless your opponent has, space or whatever, by summoning Hanzo, searching for this, setting this, and maybe setting something else, because you can guarantee yourself the fact that you won't have to deal with something with a ridiculous monster. And then when you summon this out, it just puts your opponent in a bit of a bad position because they've got to deal with a 2500, and sometimes that can be difficult for them. Debris Dragon's still really good to make with this. Like I said before, you want to get his effect, but it's not that big of a deal if you don't. You'll just bring him out in defense mode. He's still a tuner. He still does everything you want him to do. So, those are your dragons. I tried Drak Guaiba in the deck, like on Dueling Network. I didn't really like it that much. To me, he was just, I don't know, he just didn't really work out as well as I would have liked him to do. Yeah, I don't know. Plus, when I was building the deck with actual cards, I didn't really want to have to buy Guaibas because they're a little bit pricey. So, these three will get the job done. No worries. Alright. So, we've got Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning. Obvious. The rest of the traps are really, really simple. 2 Compulsory Evacuation Device. You've got the monster removal with the super transformations. This will help you deal with the Xyz monsters. Draco Sack, Big Eye, just anything, Zen Mines, whatever Xyz comes out, you can deal with it. Maestroke. This card just does so much against Xyz summons, and they're so prevalent that I think this just provides you a lot of good support. Then we've got Double Bottomless, obvious, 2 Torrential, pretty simple there. And for our defensive cards, I'm playing Starlight Road and Dark Bribe. Starlight Road is pretty simple. I've talked about that. And Dark Bribe is actually pretty good. It helps you deal with the Spellbook matchup a little bit. If you can bribe the Spellbook of Judgment, you're in good shape. I mean, sure, they get a card when you use Dark Bribe, but I mean, it's a lot better than them getting like 5 cards off of Judgment or whatever. And Dark Bribe is just general good protection against whatever. You can set all your cards in this, and you don't have to worry about heavy. Just like this protects you from that. This just protects you against whatever the heck you want. You hit whatever spell or trap you want with this card. You don't have to blind anything. It just bam. And it's really good when you're going for game because you don't even care what they draw. Like if you're someone that's a Torrential, a Mirror Force, you don't care what's face down because you can just put everything on the board and then go for game because you have Bribe, which unless they draw Gores or like Tragodia or Battle Fader or something like that, it's gonna be able to give you the game. Alright, so let's go to the extra deck. We'll start off with the rank 3s first. We've got Levier the Sea Dragon, Wind Up Zen Mines, number 30 Acid Golem of Destruction, and number 17 Leviathan Dragon. Just a standard assortment of Xyz monsters here. Not a whole lot to talk about these. You banish enough to where you can use this. If you had to take out one card of the extra deck and put it into something else, I would probably recommend Levier, because you really don't banish that often, except when you bring out Chaos Sorcerer, Blackluster Soldier. So, this card just doesn't put in as much work as I would, I guess, like it to. But I didn't really have another card to replace it at the time, so it's this one. So I mean, it still does enough to where it's good, but if you're like, oh, I want something else, I would probably take this one out for it. Standard defense, and then these guys are just big offensive cards, so pretty obvious choices with those. We got Stardust Dragon for Starlight Road, just good. And then we go to the rank 4s. Gemnite Pearl, just big, 2600. He just deals with whatever you want him to deal with. Starleash Paladynamo, you don't get this guy off as much, but you can go upstart to upstart and then make him. Works out actually really nicely. He's just a really good card in my opinion. Blade Armor Ninja, this is ninjas, you should be playing this. Excalibur, more OTK potential. This deck can OTK pretty well actually, so that's what I like about it. Shockmaster, this is important. The deck goes into Shockmaster really easily. There's a ton of different ways you can make Shockmaster. You can Special Thrasher, normal upstart, uses effect, get another monster, and now you have a Shockmaster. You can Special Thrasher, normal Debris Dragon's effect, get something, you have a Shockmaster. If you have an upstart and 2 trap cards, you have a Shockmaster. There's so many different ways you can get Shockmaster in this deck, and that's all in one turn. If you consider the fact that you could have 2 turns to get this guy out, the possibilities become even greater. So definitely consider this card. This card will win you games against a variety of decks because you have the ability to lock them out of their cards with general consistency. And that's what I love about this deck, and I love about Shockmaster, because he just gives you that advantage, and he gives you that ability to step up and control the game a bit more, even when your deck is not as fast or hard-hitting as some of the others. So that's what I love about it. We've got one Photon Pappy Operative. Really good if you're going for a game against dragons. If you grind them down, which is what you should do with this deck, you can get them to where maybe they have a Draco Sack and a couple tokens. You summon this, you put the tokens in attack mode, and you can hit them for 2,000. It's just super good. That's what I like about this card. Like I said, this deck is like a rank 4 toolbox, which is awesome. Then we've got number 50, Black Ship of Corn. Just generally good. Good in so many situations. Abyss Dweller, Dragons, Dark Worlds, Mormels, whatever you want. It's never going to go up because you don't play any waters, but unless you reborn something, it's still good. I still recommend playing it. Gaga Cowboy, he goes for game. He gets over Ophion. He does lots of stuff. And then Maestro, because he's one of the best rank 4 Xyz in the game. So yeah, that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think, and I'll catch you later.